everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Narrated by Disney, Orca Lucasfilm, driven by Slice It, Legends. Now, today, we have an extravaganza. We have quite a bit to talk about, because I kind of just decided to shove it all in one video. This is basically everything. The rest of everything. Maybe missing some things because I'm not perfect, but mostly everything before the events of the second film in the Star Wars universe. Well, now fifth film, but second publication-wise. Well, if we're not counting the holiday special, Empire Strikes Back. But before that, we have this video. Starting with two Star Wars adventure comics. The first one being Princess Leia and the Royal Ransom. This is just a fun little one-off. I mean, Han and Leia and Chewie are on this mission. A princess shows up. I think also the bad guy from Rebellion issues 11 to 14. The ones where it doesn't focus on the movie characters. But it's not much. But it was a lot of fun. And then, in Adventure, Star Wars Adventures, Boba Fett and the Ship of Fear. This one's actually a pretty good Boba Fett story. These two bounty hunters are after this treasure, and Boba Fett is too, but Boba Fett knows when it's not worth it and will leave. These two brothers, they're all they have left. And this treasure is all they have. And so they go after it, dying in the process. But it's actually a pretty decent one as well. I really enjoyed it. Tale 17, Planet of the Dead. I don't know if this is non-canon. Han and Chewie go to this planet. You could probably also set this before the Rebellion era, because they don't even mention anything about the Rebellion. But I mean, you could also place it here. They go to this planet, and there's like zombies and ghosts. I don't know if it's canon, but I guess you can put it here. We also have Star Wars Tales number 6, The Hidden. I don't have anything to say about it, but it'd be about here. Then, moving forward, we have the rest of Dark Forces, the video game. So, the first mission of Dark Forces is still in the Death Star plans. And if you want a more story-focused plot version of that, you read the novella, Dark Forces 1, Soldier for the Empire. 90% of that novella is before the game actually begins. And then all the novella basically does is say that the canon way is that Kyle Katarn did not go in guns blazing. In fact, he was a bit more stealthy about it, and then he got the plans, and that was it. However, there's no written adaptation of the rest of the game, which is where Kyle Katarn and Janor's stopped the Dark Trooper project. But I wanted to make sure I mentioned it because, whether you like it, don't like it, Disney canon has reintroduced Dark Troopers with The Mandalorian. But it all started with this video game. So, you do have some cool things in here. The main Imperial bad guy. They talk about how he used to be hero of the Clone Wars, and how he never liked droids and stuff because he like man to man, flesh to flesh, honorary like duel or whatever. So that was interesting. We also have Boba Fett. He makes an appearance, and of course Vader's there, being like, "I hope your project goes well." But other than that, it's not too much story. Uh, Kyle goes on a bunch of missions. Jan Ors is the one that drives him everywhere. When Jan Ors gets kidnapped by Jabba at one point, uh, Kyle goes to save her, which, they're just friends at this point, but I could see that evolving into a love. Also, you don't need this, but in the Shadow of the Empire source book, you have In the Emperor's Service. Basically, this dude works for like the weapons logistics and strategy or whatever, and he gets sent to do this other thing. And people think that he's been demoted, but he knows he's doing the Emperor's will, and so he's very happy about it. Now we get to a bunch of short stories. Combat in Adventure Journal number 9, Combat Moon by John Whitman. Yes, the same John Whitman that wrote the Galaxy of Fear young adult series. It's just a fun little one-off story. It basically just shows this race of people who, when politics can't hash it out, they send two people to duel it out on a moon nearby to the planet. And the Imperials are trying to mess with that to make both sides get pissed at each other. It's pretty decent. Not as good as Galaxy of Fear or anything, but John Whitman's a good writer. The Adventure Journal, number 9 as well. We have Lum Runners. Lum is like an alcohol. And the Imperials really think that a ship called the Lum Runner is actually smuggling stuff. So they try, but they can't find anything. What's going on? Gotta read the short story to find out. In Adventure Journal number 12, Shapeshifters by Pablo Hidalgo. Basically, this Imperial scientist dude is studying shapeshifters. That's about it. We do get Shido in here, which is, from Galaxy of Fear. So that's interesting. But I think this is written late. So I don't know if the one from episode 2 is mentioned. I kind of forget. But sorry about all the freaking yawning. I'm tired. It's been a long day. But I finished everything, so I wanted to talk about it immediately afterwards. It's a decent little thing. Moving forward, we have Adventure Journal number 11, Command Decision by Timothy Zahn. So this is a decent one. Of course, racism. Thrawn has now officially become Grand Admiral. I think he was Grand Admiral in the last 4-part short story. But in this one, they're in the unknown regions. He's trying to do something with this race of people. And a lot of the people on his ship don't trust him because he's an alien and they're human. So this one dude, he's very racist. But he's honorable, He has his position. He's going to stick by his commanding officer, despite the fact that he thinks this guy is stupid. But in the end, his loyalty pays off because, of course, it's Thrawn. He knows exactly what he's doing. Is it much? No. But it is Thrawn, yet again, showing how much of a genius he is. So if you want more of that, this is a fun little short story for you. I did really enjoy this one. It's funny that Timothy Zahn continues to make me enjoy his stuff in short stories, but can't do that in a good portion of his novels because he's overrated as frick. Anyway, in Adventure Journal number 12, we have Idle Intentions by Patricia Jackson. She writes fine, but I just don't care about any of her stories. Like, I'm not invested, ever. But we follow Drake Paulson again. Yay, because I cared so much about him before. But he's here. There's also something they're trying to get at some point called a crystal skull, which, you know, Indiana Jones 4. But I'll leave it at that. We also have Adventure Journal number 15, Laughter After Dark, also by Patricia Jackson. I really have nothing to say about this one. It's If you want it, it's placed around here. We also have in Adventure Journal number 15, The Draw. So these people, or this brother, goes to save his brother from the Imperials. But his brothers come to believe in the cause, and so it causes strife among them. It is a decent little story. Alien Encounters. The Shards is the next one, the next short story. This robot is with this Imperial, and the Imperial's trying to figure out who is the mole? Who's the mole for the rebels? Turns out it's the robot. That's basically it. Now, probably the best short story, next to Command Decision, which is Do No Harm by Aaron Endor. In the short story compilation Tales from the Empire, you can find this short story. And it is about a doctor in the rebellion who's never harmed a soul, has only healed people, but he goes on mission with the rebels and is forced to kill people. It's a simple premise, it's a simple idea, but it works really well. It harkens, I guess this is written first, but it harkens back to MedStar, which dealt with similar things. Not exactly the same, but still, it was doctors in war. So you have a doctor in war who's, his code, do no harm. What does that mean when you're doing it to protect another? All that stuff. It's dealt with in this short story. It's actually pretty good, and I do recommend that one. Then we have Star Wars Galaxy number 5, Double Trouble on Ord Mantell. Bounty Hunter shenanigans begin. And that's basically it. This one's really fun. So, did you know that there is a record, like you put on a record of an adventure, expanded universe material record of an adventure in between episode 4 and 5. This one being Rebel Mission to Ord Mantell, written by Brian Daley. That's right, Brian Daley, the writer of the Han Solo trilogy from the 70s, wrote for an audio drama, basically, on a record. But you can find it on the internet fairly easily, like on YouTube even. I may even leave a link in the description to it. But here, because there's a one-off line in episode 5 where Han talks about escaping that bounty hunter in Ord Mantell, and that's this story. And it's nothing crazy or special, but it's a lot of fun. And I do recommend looking that up. Next up, we have a 4-issue comic called Rebel Heist. Basically, we see most of our heroes in the movies from the perspective of different people. So the first one, we got Han, and we got a new rebel recruit following him around. Then we got Leia being followed around by a Twi'lek dancer, that's a rebel person in disguise. Then we have somebody following Chewbacca, and then of course somebody following, or like a bounty hunter or something, following Luke. But it's not fantastic or anything, but it's pretty decent, and it was something different, which I really appreciated. So, yeah. Then we have, last but not least, Star Wars: A Valentines Story. Han and Leia are bickering as they always do. We're getting really close to episode 5 now. And they go on a mission on Hoth, and their ship crashes, and they have to stay together, to stay close, to stay warm. Tension. And they almost have a moment. It gets cut short because they get saved. But it's just a fun little comic, about Han and Leia. Obviously, they're not going to get together yet. Episode 5 hasn't happened. It's nothing great. It's nothing horrible. It's just fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. And then lastly, we have a Golden Book children's book, right? Which is Meltdown at Hoth. Basically, C-3PO wants to warm Leia's room because it's really cold. So C-3PO and R2-D2 go to do that, but they start making her room melt because it's an ice base. And so shenanigans ensue. Don't expect anything of great mystical quality of writing. It's a children's book. That being said, it was a lot of fun. And that's pretty much it, guys. Moving on forward, we'll be past episode 5. We'll be in between episode 5 and 6. So I hope you'll join me for that. Until next time, with the Force be with you.